I pretty much, and this will sound strange, but I pretty much on the side of conference attendee hate conferences. I don't like them at all. And I hated, and that's a strong word, but I think I use it appropriately, in at least in this context. I hated youth conferences. I hated them with a passion. Get in your face, sucker! Because all of it was geared toward, look, the next generation, we got to make things bigger. It's got to be flashier. It's got to be better. And as a youth pastor of a super small church with a super small youth group, it just became this sort of culture of, man, look how big they are. Look how much they have. Look how much they can do. And whether it be a youth pastor conference or whether it be a pastor's conference, it's always this mentality that what you're doing, laboring in the word of God, striving, agonizomai, striving in the word and in fellowship with God's people, if that turns out to be small, you're really either not trying hard enough, you don't have the knowledge that you need to be able to go forward. Oh, now I can buy this tool, or I can get this kit, or I can get this, worship CDs or things, and now people will start coming. But it's just this perpetual attitude that whatever you're doing is not good enough. You need to change what it is that you're doing, and then the motivation that comes with all of this rally of people and all of the smoke and lights and sound and fury that represents, okay, we're all going to go out and we're going to do better in ministry, and we're going to come back next year. And what's crazy about it is that a lot of times, like, Black churches, and I'm not talking about all of them, but obviously you would already know I'm not talking about every single one of them, but in the Black church culture, the rampant and heretical prosperity gospel that says, next year you're going to come back and you're going to be better. Next Sunday, if you sow this seed, things are going to be better, is just so antithetical to biblical Christianity that I've struggled with those things for years. Like Jackie Hill Perry, someone in whom I absolutely love her ministry, is partnering in a Bethel conference, and I'm not quite sure why she's doing that. I want to give her some space to be able to at least respond. If Bethel called me, I'll just go ahead and keep it a buck. If Bethel called me and said, hey, we've been watching your videos, we want you to come and do a conference with us, and I would say, then you haven't been watching our videos, because I think you guys are heretics. I think you guys are propagating a false gospel and a false, listen, we don't have to die on the altar of, well, this particular text says this. We can do that all day long, but that gets so forensic that people won't listen to your argument after the first 2 minutes. What we can tell people is that the theme of suffering, that the theme of gospel-laden, gospel-rich worship in Bethel music is absent. From the pulpit, preaching a balanced gospel where there's virtually no introduction of the gospel, and then adding false elements to it, and then misrepresenting scripture. You're doing all of those things, Bethel. And so here's my invitation to you. If you want me to come, clear the stage. I'm going to do the music that I want to do, which is going to be Erskine music. You'll hear some of that in just a second. I'm going to do the music that I want to do, and I'm going to speak on the theme that I want to speak on, which I'm not going to speak down Bethel. If you invite me to a Bethel conference, I can speak about that on my show. You can watch the videos and you can figure out what it is that you're doing wrong on my show. But I'm going to speak the purity of the gospel. And so it's not inconceivable, at least I could say it's not miraculous, that I would ever be at some conference where they're like, hey, that person is kind of a, shady person. One, because I don't control who they invite to the conference. But two, if I'm at the conference, and this is probably why I don't get invited to a lot of conferences, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do on the conference. And so let's just keep that a buck. Let's just already right now, you just need to know when I come to a conference, and this is why I don't get invited to a lot of conferences. Big Head is telling me this is why you don't get invited to a lot of conferences. What am I going to speak about? What is that guy going to say? He seems to be unhinged. I can tell you exactly what I'm going to say. And anybody who knows me, and of the 1,000 or so subscribers who watch this show, you know exactly what I'm going to say. I'm going to drive home the purity and the profundancy and the power of the gospel, a la Romans 1:16. I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God unto salvation for everyone who believes, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. Power of God. what I'm talking about. Paul, take
Except this time they're even more bitter. Like, is there a way?
Fight.
And true discipleship is fantastic.